We're going. All right. Hi, Cody. I am so excited to have you here on my podcast, No More Excuses. And
Thank you.
thank you for being here. So for all my listeners, this is Cody Butler. You are the author of #1 best-selling author, Got Attitude, and the latest book, if I'm correct, is the 90-Day Marketing Plan.
Correct, yes.
All right. And as you've said, worked with over 5,000 businesses.
Yep.
And so we were talking a little bit before we started the podcast that I've been doing these podcasts for over 4 years, and I get inundated with people who want to be on my podcast, which is really flattering. However, as you can imagine, not all of them are genuine, authentic requests. And I've turned down more than I've accepted, but after creeping on you a little bit, and I'm so glad you got the memo to wear red. So clearly like-minded, right? After creeping on you a little bit or a lot, you resonated with me, and I felt that strong mindset connection that we were talking about. So I'm flattered that you reached out to me and really appreciate you being on here. And
well, thank you.
And so in regards to that connection I felt, and maybe it was just, COVID mindset, but you've talked to entrepreneurs, you've worked with business owners, and my clients are just spinning with uncertainty, and people who aren't my clients are just my listeners spinning with uncertainty. And now reopening, they want to know 3 things. They want some clarity, some stability, and the quick fixes that we were talking about, that magic pill. And that's my third book is The Magic Pill, but it's not always the right way. As we were talking about, you can't skip the steps. So during this pandemic, my podcasts have talked about mindset and decluttering, literally, like space and in your mindset, and just personally and professionally, because some people were still working and other people had to move home and they're just working out of a living room like me. Or working out of a bedroom that maybe they're sharing with kids, who knows it, but you've got to declutter your space and all that. So it was really a great time to have you on. And I just felt this was a great opportunity because you do so much work with the marketing and social media. And my hope is today that, and what my listeners are probably like, shut up, Sandy, shut up, Mom. They'll listen to you. They would probably love to hear, what 3 steps or tips do you have for our listeners and for business owners for immediate growth in spite of all this uncertainty? So what do you have for us?
Okay, thank you. So three tips that can get business owners back online or get them back into business as quickly as possible and start getting the immediate results. So the first thing I would say is it's your mindset. I mean, we've talked a little bit about mindset. Mindset is everything. It's the compass. It's what's going to guide you. So the first thing to understand, I think that business owners need to understand is that this is nothing new. A pandemic is maybe new, but tectonic shifts in business is not new. There was a time when radio came about that changed the way business was done radically.
Yeah.
And then 20 years after radio, television came along. And again, that was a completely radical and scary shift for business owners. Business was no longer done as it once was. 20 years after television, of course, came the internet. So these radical shifts in how business owners have to do business have always been there, and they're always happening, and they will continue to happen. So this time it happens to be 20 years after the internet, we have a pandemic. 20 years after the pandemic, I don't know what it will be, but something will happen. So every time these radical shifts happen, massive opportunity is created for business owners. So I don't know the exact statistic. They say 92.7% of all statistics are made up on the spot. So I'm going to say 80%.
That's great. Yeah.
So, but it's approximately 80% of businesses are still not online in any meaningful way.
That blows my mind.
So if this is not the opportunity for those businesses to do what it is that's been stopping them and actually take those steps to transition to an online environment, because I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I'm pretty sure this is not going to go away. We're talking about the new normal. I don't know what the new normal is going to be, but it's not going to be the old normal.
No.
I am pretty sure of that. So looking at this as an opportunity, because there's 2 ways you can look at this. You can look at it as a catastrophe, which is going to completely disempower you and put you in a position to where you're going to be scared, fearful, and completely incapable of taking any kind of action that's productive and meaningful, or you can look at this as a great opportunity, probably the biggest opportunity in your lifetime, and you can move in that direction. So that would be the first thing, is how are you going to view this situation? And something I find very important and very helpful is, like, you've got to understand, like can only produce like. An apple tree will only ever produce apples. An orange tree will only ever produce oranges. So if you're in a state of fear, anxiety, stress, overwhelm, uncertainty, taking action in that state can only produce more of that state.
That's a great point.
If I'm in a state of anxiety, which I frequently am as a business owner, because that's what we do, right? That's the world we put ourselves in. I'll look at my emails, or I'll look at my schedule and stuff like that, and it will produce anxiety. So I've got a routine before I start to deal with any of that, to where I'll go for a walk, I'll exercise, I'll go to the coffee shop, have a coffee, I'll get to a place of calmness, peace, serenity, because that's what I want more of in my business. So if I'm in a place of peace, the only thing I can produce at that time is more peace. So that's when I start acting. If I'm in a place of anxiety and fear, and I act out of that place, I can only produce more anxiety and fear.
All right.
Like produces
listeners,
like.
That's right. Listeners, listen to that, right there.
So you've got to get a grip of yourself. If you can empower yourself by looking at the positivity and the opportunity, and put yourself in a place of empowerment, then you're going to create more empowerment.
Sure.
That's the number one thing. I think the second thing is, business owners have got to come to terms with communications. So we're on Zoom right now. I believe I'm in Australia. You're in Huntington Beach, California. I think you said.
Yeah.
So international communications is very easy, very cheap. This is probably free or sub $20 a month service or whatever. With the new normal as it's going to be, communications are going to be really, really, really important. Communications is everything. You can't have a good relationship without good communication. You can't have a good business without good communication. You can't have a good relationship with your prospects, clients, without good communication. So it's like, I think number two is, you've really got to nail down your communications. How are you going to communicate with your team? How are you going to communicate with your customers? Is that Skype? Is it Zoom? Is it WebEx? Is it smoke signals on the top of a mountain? Who knows?
And there's a new Google conferencing out now too.
Yeah.
I've scheduled a Zoom, and somehow, because it was in the calendar invite, my client was on the Google and I was on the Zoom. It's like, hey, come together. So communication is key too. Yeah.
And number three, I would say, look, one of the great positive side effects of what's going on right now is the cost of advertising is down. Like in my experience, it's down approximately 80%.
Okay.
So I've been doing a lot of, I spent $250,000 on Facebook personally, and that my ad spend has gone down dramatically over the past 3 months. The opportunity for businesses to actually engage in advertising now. So those businesses that were dependent on foot traffic, dependent on word of mouth, dependent on referrals, and really didn't have an advertising strategy to where they can go out and basically have a vending machine in their business. They put $1 in and they get $2 out. They put $1 in, they get $2 out. They've never actually developed that process, that marketing process, for whatever reason, whether it's just been inconvenient, too difficult, or the cost of advertising has been too expensive. Now is a great time to get in on that, because the cost of mistakes is considerably lower. You can now start to learn advertising at an 80% discount.
We were talking about mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, can I give point number 4?
Sure.
You asked for 3, but I'll give you, there's my 3, and here's the bonus for
there you go.
A-star students. Yeah, you can't be afraid to make mistakes. It's like any time that we move into a new environment, we're going to make mistakes. And if you want to double your learning speed, triple your learning speed, double the number of mistakes, triple the number of mistakes that you make.
Great.
We were talking before, and I've had the privilege of working with 5,000 businesses approximately now. And the benefit that I get from that is I see the successful group, I see the intermediate group, and I see the group that fail. And there are very specific characteristics within those groups. And the group that are really top 5% that are making the vast majority of the money, they take action before they feel ready to take action. They take action in the face of fear, and they're willing to make mistakes. And they don't view it as though they're going to look silly. The less successful group, I'll give a set of instructions to, and they'll say, well, how's that going to impact my brand? How's that? It's
Right.
like, you don't have a brand. Coca-Cola has a brand.
Yes, yeah. And the thing is one of the things along those lines, I always tell my clients is there is a reason when they, especially when things are so expensive or crisis hit, they try to stop on the marketing. I'm like, there is a reason why Budweiser and McDonald's never stop advertising, because there's someone waiting in
Yep.
the wings to pull up to number one or number
Yep.
two, wherever they are now in the world. So yeah.
And that's like, you know, talking with my team when this crisis first hit, and we could see that it was actually not going away.
Right.
It's like, we've got to review our culture. We've got to review our mission statements. It's like, what are we going to do as a company? What are we going to do as an organization? And the conclusion is we're going to expand into the crisis. We're not going to contract and hide.
So you leaned in. Yeah.
We're going to lean into it, and we're going to expand into this, and we're going to take this as the opportunity to take market share.
Mm-hmm.
While other people are becoming timid and scared and pulling back on advertising, which is why there's such a discount on media right now.
Ah, okay.
It's because other companies, other businesses, other coaches, other consultants are pulling back, and they're conserving funds out of fear. That's produced the opportunity to actually lean into what's going on. Some of the better companies that they're growing like crazy right now. They're seeing growth that they haven't seen ever, really. The opportunity is absolutely massive. So again, going back to point number one, it's like this has to be viewed. If you want to succeed and grow, this has to be viewed. Right. You have to find a way to view this as an opportunity. You have to view it as a way.
Right. There's so many amazingly good things that have come out of this ridiculously uncertain and crazy ride, hasn't it?
Well, look, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, not business related at all, but like reconnecting with family, understanding what's, when materialism is taken from us, it makes me personally realize how insignificant that is, but how focused I am on it.
Right.
And it makes me realize how important family and friends and relationships are, and how little I've been focused on it.
Right. Yeah. And
so that's been a very positive thing. It's like, well, have I been focusing on all the wrong things? And one thing I really believe is how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah.
If I'm focusing on the wrong things over here, then in my personal life, then I'm focusing on the wrong things in my business as well. And it's like, well, okay, well, let's step back and
yes. And and that's a lot of things with a lot of the business owners and clients and just people in general that I talk about. They're like, oh, so you're a life coach as well. And I said, well, if I came to you and said I'm a life coach, you'd have a completely different impression of if I said I was a business coach. But life is what gets in the way of your business. Absolutely. Like you said, your mindset, number one thing you have to change or you have to work on to get to step number two and to start, because you are your only competition. And, in a sense, people could say we're competitors, but maybe we have completely different niche markets. And like you said earlier, there's so much out there. There's so many people that are in need of a coach or just are in need of a mentor or a friend, somebody to listen and talk through things, especially right now. But it's just been crazy with policies and procedures and realizing that what's personally and professionally what's broken and what has been broken that people have just let go and let go and let go. And I can't remember, a lot of people have said it, but it's that whole the world needed a reset, because everyone was just running free like I don't know, like kids in the candy store, and somebody was like, we got to stop here. And like you said, being able to pay more attention to family and friends and what's important, getting back to the basics. And so, okay, number one, mindset. Number two,
get your communication sorted out.
Yep. Three.
Number three is develop a form of outreach that doesn't involve foot traffic referral. Right. Whether you're going to use YouTube ads, Facebook ads, Google ads, Taboola ads.
Ads.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got to have a way to reach people that you didn't have before, because the foot traffic's not going to be there. The meetings and the referrals are not going to be there probably.
Perfect. And number four, you had a bonus.
Yeah, that was what was number four?
We're like both talking.
How you do anything is how you do everything.
It's
Focus
right. Yeah,
on
yeah,
the important on the important
that's
things.
right.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you so much, Cody. Okay, so it's been great. How can people find you? How can they get a hold of you, follow you, connect with you?
Yep. So my website's codybutler.com. I'm pretty findable on social media. If you search Cody Butler, you can find me. Um, can I say something about the book?
Sure, go for it. Go for it. Yeah.
90-day marketing plan. It's available on Amazon.com. It's also available at the 90-day marketing plan.biz.
Mhm.
That's where you can find that if you're interested. But yeah, let's connect with me on LinkedIn, connect with me on Facebook. It's great to hear from people, and uh, happy to answer questions on social media for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Cody. Have a great day and stay healthy.
Be blessed
All right.
yourself. Thank you.
Cheers.